I'm Ashley Marie and today I'm doing a tutorial for these beautiful, simple, and elegant gum paste peonies. Let's get started. The first thing you need is your fondant or gum paste. Now I like a 50-50 mix, half fondant, half gum paste, and you can mix them together. If you only have fondant, you can always get this gum text. It's a really great way to add gum paste strength to fondant. You're also going to need your cutters. You should get a set that comes with 4 sizes. You're gonna want some paper towels that I've cut up into pieces. We're gonna use that later on. Some type of strong clear alcohol and a brush. A mat. Now this is optional. I like the mat because it gives texture to the petals. You can make the peony without the textures, but it definitely adds something to the flower. And then you want a flower mat and a ball tool. And then mini styrofoam balls with some wire and a duster. This has half powdered sugar, half cornstarch mixture in it. You want something to hang your flowers on. I'm just using one of these shelves that I keep dishes on. And then you need a rolling pin, or you can use a pasta roller, and that is what I'm going to be using. Pasta roller gets it nice and thin very quickly and very easily. Now we're gonna create some ombre fondant. To do this, you wanna take 2 different colors. Now I have pink and I have white. Now the more gradient that you want your colors, if you want one end to be white and one end to be dark pink, you're gonna wanna use more of a 50-50 mix. If what you're going for is just varying shades of pink, you wanna use more pink, less white. I'm gonna take a smaller amount. I've rolled both into tubes, and you want them about the same length. I'm gonna roll those together. And now I'm looking for 4 different colors, so I'm gonna cut this into 4ths. Now notice I have pink in the end. If I wanted the end to be white, I would make sure I had a batch of white over here at the end with probably just a smidge of pink in, because that little bit of color within the white is going to bring it all together really nicely. So you don't just have one end of the ombre that's like totally different than the rest. The reason that we do this is now we're going to have gradient shades of white bringing this pink down, where if we had gone with trying to mix it ourselves, add a drop here, add a drop there, it's not gonna be as smoothly done. And there you go, from light to dark, nice and even. Now we're gonna take our darkest color and roll it out. That's gonna be the center of our flower. So flatten it and dust it with a little bit of the cornstarch powdered sugar mixture and run it through the whitest setting of your pasta roller, or start rolling it out. I'm done rolling this out. As you can see, it's really thin. I took it to a number 4 or 5 on mine. Using your smallest cutter, you want to cut out 8 centers. Now we have our cut out petals. The first thing that we're gonna wanna do is soften all the edges a little bit with our ball tool, just to make it more petal-like. Real petals are going to have that little bit of thinness to the edges. Once you've thinned the edges, you're gonna wanna take each petal and place it onto our mold. And then I'm using my flower foam so that I can really press into that without getting fingerprints on it. And there you go. Now you have a veined, thin petal. And just do that for all of them. Now you're gonna take a small styrofoam ball along with a wire that you've turned at the end to kind of make it look like a shepherd's crook. You can put the wire into your styrofoam ball and push it all the way through, and that hook is gonna catch. That's gonna hold it into the styrofoam ball really nicely. Take some of that dark fondant from before, your center color, and flatten it out a little bit. Brush your styrofoam ball with whatever clear alcohol you're using. And wrap it around the ball. Now you can make your balls completely out of fondant, like just make a fondant ball, but it's gonna need a lot of time to dry, so you're gonna wanna make it a couple of days ahead of time, and that just uses a lot of fondant, which gets expensive. So I find the styrofoam ball is a cheap, easy alternative, especially when I don't think ahead. We're gonna flip over our petals. We're gonna start with 2 and brush the back of them almost completely. Ooh. Take the first one, and we want those edges to just cover the center of our flower and bring it around, cupping it. And then the second petal, again, just crossing over that center line. On the back sides of all the other petals, you're going to want to paint on them with the alcohol most of the way up, leaving just the top unpainted. Start with one and crossing over one of these lines. We're going to put it on so it's about the same height as the flower itself. You can see that. So we don't want it to cross all the way into the center when it lays down. We're going to press this one down carefully. I'm going to leave this side open because we're going to come back in later with that final petal and slide it in. So press it down and add the next one, overlapping just slightly. Press it down, add the next one. Now for the final petal, we still have that first one open a little bit. We're gonna slide this in so it's overlapping this side and then it gets overlapped on that side. In the top, just encourage the petals to cup. It's not a tight bud, but it is a bud. Then fold the back end of your wire and hang it upside down on your rack to dry. Take your next shade of pink, your next size cutter, and cut out 8 petals. Now, just like before, you're going to take the petals you've cut out and thin the ends, and then put it into the mold and press it down. But instead of leaving it flat, we're actually going to put it in a spoon, kind of press it down in. That'll help give it a nice curve, and let it sit for 20 minutes. Just pick a place to start and put your first petal down and press it down on one side, but leave it open on the other because we're going to tuck in that last petal like we did last time. And just keep going around. You may only get 7 petals in, and that's okay. So tuck in and kind of cup in. This is our last row where it's going to be a little bit on the tighter side. So just kind of, you don't want it too tight. You do want the petals to be a little bit loose-ish, but you do want them to cup in still. And once you're happy with that, hang it upside down for about 2 hours and we'll start the next round. We're ready for our next layer. Take the next size up and you want to cut 8 to 10 petals. And again, repeat the same steps. Thin out the end, put it on. Ooh. And then put it inside a larger spoon. And then let those sit for 20 minutes. The first thing that we're going to do is take some of this clear alcohol and brush the bottom half of each of these petals. You don't want to go higher than the halfway mark. That'll cause problems later. So be a little bit careful. Now take your bud and holding it upside down, we're going to start just like we did before and putting our flowers on. Now press down to get the clear alcohol to stick, but we don't want to press the top of the petal where we didn't put alcohol. We just want to press this bottom half in. And you want to be careful not to put your hands on the other side and like press together because you'll end up breaking all this delicate work. So use that wire to kind of help push against and use the bud. You can hold the sides of the bud and press in that way. And then just work your way around, overlapping as you go. We're back to our first petal. So like before, I'm going to pull it away so I can slide this one underneath and then put that first petal down on top. Flip it over and kind of cup your flower. So because we had them drying on spoons, they already have a nice cup shape to them. But what we want to do now is separate out these petals. We don't want them to be so close together, because in real life the flowers aren't, you know, row, row, row. We need to have some variation here. So that's where these ripped apart paper towels come in. I'm going to take a nice rectangle and fold it in half, and using the sides that are ripped together, not the bulgy side together, because that will create a little bit of a bump. So these nice smooth ends, I'm going to slide it between two of my petals. And just take your time, don't, you know, force it. You don't want to break your petals. Now, when you push it down, you'll kind of feel where it's attached to the flower from the alcohol. So you don't want to push it all the way down into that, or the paper towel will get stuck. And when you rip the paper towel away later, you could accidentally rip your entire petal off. So just press it down until, you know, right before you hit that point. If you go all the way down and hit that point, just kind of pull back a little bit. So fold, slide, and push down. Okay, and now what we're gonna do is flip our flower back over. And if we've pressed those in between good and knife, the weight of the petals should hold all those paper towels in place. So now we're just gonna leave this hanging up to dry for 2 to 4 hours. Now our final light pink color. And just like before, we're gonna thin the ends with our ball tool, put it on the mold, and press, pop it out. And you can use, for this, to get that curved shape, I'm using these small ball pans, but you can always, if you buy apples at the grocery store, you know how they come in those apple containers? You can use anything like that. You just kind of want it to be about the size of a tennis ball or softball. Now we're ready for the final layer of our flowers. So what we're gonna do is take the tissue out of the last row. And the reason that we're doing this is some of this tissue is sticking out between the petals, and as we lay the next petals down, we don't want to adhere these even more. So otherwise I would say just leave them until the very end, but we don't want those to get stuck to anything. So go ahead and pull them out. Now we will again want to paint the bottom 1/3 of each petal with some clear alcohol. And just like before, just start going around, making sure you're pressing against the bulk of the flower and not against the petals. And we're back around to the first petal. Lift that up a little ways to slide in the last petal. And then press down. And now, just like the previous row, we're gonna take some ripped up paper towels, fold it in half, and slide it down between the petals. And once again, flip that upside down. The petal weight should hold all those paper towels in, and let it dry for another 4 to 6 hours. And this is dry, so we pull out our tissues. If you have one that's stuck, just kind of very carefully wiggle it back and forth there until you get it out. And that is it. Our peony is done, and it's beautiful. I've used this peony in quite a few cakes. A lace buttercream cake, my edible sequins cake with ranunculus and roses, and I love this one. It's simple, it's beautiful, it looks good in so many different colors. As you can see, I have a single white peony adorning this gold leafed cake. You can see the tutorial for gold leafing on the YouTube channel next week, so don't forget to subscribe so that you don't miss it. In the comments section, leave me a note. Let me know if there's other gum paste flowers you'd like to see a video tutorial for, other cake techniques you want to see, other carved cakes and themed cakes that you want to see. I want to make the cake tutorials that you are interested in seeing, and I would love getting some fun suggestions from you guys. Also, if you make the peony, go ahead and put a picture up on social media and tag me in it so I can see your beautiful creations. Links for all my social profiles are also in the description box down below. Thanks for watching.